Hello everybody, it's Star Raptor here. Welcome to my spoiler-free review of The Mummy. It stars Tom Cruise, Sofia Boutella, and Russel Crowe. So I've always been a fan of 1999's The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser. I love that movie to death. I watched it so many freaking times. And when I heard they were rebooting with a new Mummy, I was super pumped. Not only that, because then we did find out recently that it's actually part of this new shared universe called Dark Universe that Universal's cooking up with all these different other monsters. So it's really important that this film does great to start off this whole thing. And well, did I think it did its job? I think it did, but it didn't really exceed my expectations. So the plot of The Mummy goes a little bit like this. We follow the main character of Nick, played by Tom Cruise, who is a bit of a soldier of fortune. He's over there in the Middle East fighting for the US, and well, he likes to steal things on the side, some artifacts, sell them on the black market. One day he stumbles into this forgotten tomb holding this forgotten princess of Egypt. Her name is Aminat, played by Sofia Boutella. And well, if you watch the trailers, obviously she gets resuscitated somehow, and there's this connection between her and Tom Cruise's character which drives the plot of the story. And at the same time, you have this secret organization that is headed by Russel Crowe's character, who is basically looking for all the evil monsters of the world, and these kind of entities kind of collide, and that's where this story goes. So, going into the things I liked about this movie, first off, the action is incredible. So we have this epic airplane moment towards the beginning of the film. You have basically this car chase through England's woods, followed by undead. You have trains, and it just gave me a very much Indiana Jones meets Pirates of the Caribbean vibe, which is really, really nice. So I can't talk about The Mummy, obviously, without talking about the horror vibes, because that's, well, what this movie is about, right? So the horror works well. There's a lot of different critters. There's rats, there's spiders. There is all sorts of jump scares. Like I mentioned, there's these zombie creatures. Very, very well done with the CGI. It was working for me. It was quite creepy. And finally, I want to talk about how this kind of goes into the Dark Universe. This movie, like I said, is kicking off this new shared universe, and I think it does a damn good job because Russel Crowe's character is sort of the catalyst for probably what will take off with the other films. His organization is what is looking for these other monsters and these evil entities and studying them, so he is going to be the connection between everything else. As much as I enjoyed those aspects of the movie, there were some things I didn't enjoy. So first off, this movie is so action-based that there's really no time to explore the characters, and I felt like that was a bit of a detriment to the film. There was really nothing I knew about Nick. There was nothing I knew about the other characters. Hell, I can't even really tell you what their names were besides Russel Crowe's character, who is Jekyll and Hyde, and that's been released, so it's not really much of a spoiler. But, you know, it's just one of those movies that you can just really feel like they were like, okay, we want this moment in there. Yeah, we want this moment in there. We want this moment in there. And especially the third act of this movie got a little bit out of hand. The action was a little bit harder to follow. I felt like I just couldn't keep up with really what was going on. And speaking of characters, there was a character or two in here that just really didn't provide much for the film, and they actually were really annoying and kind of messed up the tone. And that's another thing with this film that was a little bit misleading for me. It was like, okay, we have this really crazy horror vibe whenever we're focused on a scene with Aminat, but then we go back to like Tom Cruise and the good guys, and they're just joking around like slapstick humor constantly, and I'm like, I don't know if these two things kind of mesh well with each other. And another thing I want to talk about is again, just the pacing was just, we needed some time to breathe because the action, it just kind of got a little bit too much. Again, it's an hour and 45-minute long film, so at least it's not like 2 hours and 15 minutes of all this, but I would have liked to see some more space to explore, again, the characters. And there was one particular scene that kind of did bother me with just the way it was filmed. With the plane, it definitely seemed like they were in outer space because they were literally floating looking like they were in zero G. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? We're not in orbit, we're still in the Earth's atmosphere, and this plane is flying. Why do they feel like they're floating around in space? So that was a little bit weird. With that being said, I'm going to give The Mummy a score of a 7 out of 10. So there were very enjoyable moments in this movie. The action is top notch. It's just we didn't have enough room to breathe and the characters were not developed enough for me. So I'd like this, and I think that this is going to set up the Dark Universe in a good way. Not the best way possible, but we do have some teases for what's to come. I think the whole little organization started by Jekyll and Hyde is very fascinating. But yeah, I'm on board for this, and I want to know what you guys thought though, so let me know in that comment section below. Are you looking forward to more Dark Universe films? What did you think of this film, The Mummy, in particular? If you like this review, I have more reviews on this YouTube channel. I do the occasional blockbuster film review. I did Wonder Woman, I did Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so make sure you check that out. I also focus a lot on video games and Star Wars, so make sure you subscribe. I'm Star Raptor, thank you for watching, and bye-bye. So, did you like the video? Then make sure you rate it a thumbs up, and if you did that, go over there, hit that Star Raptor head to subscribe to my channel. Doing so will keep you up to speed on all of my latest content, speaking of which you can see a couple of my recent uploads down below. I'm also on social media, so what are you waiting for? Let's start nerding out.